I want to start with Trevor Lawrence. And, every quarterback, of course, is important. But when you talk about a guy that's known as generational, like, what does Trevor Lawrence have to do to be, to live up to the hype here?
Yeah, I mean, even Trevor Lawrence has the potential to completely change a down-in-the-doldrums franchise. Jacksonville, by and large, have been pretty bad for a long period of time. I know they went to the AFC Championship game not that long ago. That 2017 team was very, very good, but it lasted very short period of time, and either side of it was bad. Like it went from being very bad, quickly assembled something that looked like it could achieve something, and then very quickly disintegrated and has been bad since. And Jacksonville just generally is not this marquee franchise that everybody, when you hold up the sort of the pinnacles and the teams that everybody wants to play for or that everybody expects to be good, Jacksonville is not one of them. Trevor Lawrence could change all of that in an instant if he is as good as billed in many places. If he is, Andrew Luck did a similar thing for the Colts in terms of being capable of dragging not great rosters to the playoffs multiple times. Now, obviously, the Colts were good before Andrew Luck got there, at least, a year previously rather than the immediate year. But Trevor Lawrence, if he's that good, could be good enough to make Jacksonville a perennial playoff team just by his presence being there.
Yeah, I think I want to look through some of those, like the range of outcomes for Trevor Lawrence, because, look, Patrick Mahomes stepped in, sat out a year, played one game in 2017, but then in 2018 wins the MVP and becomes probably the best quarterback in the NFL right now for the last 3 years. I don't know. Does Trevor Lawrence have to do that? I doubt it. But if he's at Deshaun Watson's level or Andrew Luck's level, I do think those are reasonable expectations. And I also think those expectations might be too low for the way he's been hyped up. I think people might feel like that's a disappointment. Because Andrew Luck, look, he carried some not-so-good Colts teams early in his career, but we went through his grades. I'll go through them in a minute. We went through his grades. He didn't really grade well until his 5th year in the league. He had bouts where, again, he could throw the ball down the field, Luck, and he turned it over a little bit too many times, but he did some nice things. Deshaun Watson was a guy whose stats were a little bit better than his grades early on, but he got better and better, and then, last year was the number 3 quarterback in the NFL. Is it fair that Lawrence could just step in and be a pretty good quarterback to good quarterback and then eventually takes his spot as a top 3 quarterback? Or is that going to feel 4 years from now like a disappointment?
No, because you're also battling against perception. Like when you have a guy that's touted as much as Trevor Lawrence is and Andrew Luck was, the first hint of them being halfway decent is confirmation bias. It's like, there it is. Andrew Luck's amazing. He's great. Andrew Luck was hailed as this great, successful quarterback way before he ever actually was. And us looking through our lens of grading every single play, you're like, well, it took him a while to really get going and hit his stride. But the hype was there way before that. Like people had decided he'd made it well before he actually had. Same with Deshaun Watson. It's like immediately, like first game, puts up some great numbers and went on that run of great statistical success before he actually matched it with the rest of his play. But the second you give the stats or just the inkling, there's going to be plenty of people telling you that he's arrived. So Trevor Lawrence, even if he doesn't play amazingly, if he shows enough or if he flashes or if he, just gets himself into anything like that kind of conversation, it won't feel like a letdown because everybody will be claiming it as something greater than it actually is.
Yeah, just for perspective again, Andrew Luck kicks off his career with a 67 grade. Then he gets into the high 70s. That's very good. That's green. 77, 79 in 2013 and 14. Those were times, he leads his team to the AFC Championship in 2014. And again, he was working behind a not-so-great offensive line, a pretty good group of playmakers, and a defense that really wasn't all that good for much of his time in Indianapolis. 2015 was just a blip of horrible for Luck. And then he finished his career with 2016, 90.4. 2017 misses it because of injury. And then in 2018, 91.2 grade. So it really took Luck, even though the stats weren't incredible in 2016 and 18. From a throw-by-throw standpoint, it took him till 2016 to really be that guy. And then, again, Deshaun Watson, I know he's dealing with all the off-field issues. I'm just talking about from an on-field standpoint what Deshaun Watson has been on the field. 68 grade, very similar to Andrew Luck in year one, even though the stats were awesome for Watson. It was only 460 snaps. The stats were good, but we said, look, hold it on a little bit. He played okay. And then an 80 grade, an 82 grade. That's similar to Luck. Crept his way up, and then by year 4, he was a 92.5 Watson. So I could see that being Trevor Lawrence's path, right? And if he does that, that is an improvement for the Jags, right? I mean, it might not be a better. It's similar to how Gardner Minshew graded as a rookie, but I think Trevor Lawrence is going to bring that downfield ability, the big play ability in the passing game, and the Jaguars need to tap into that. So I do expect Lawrence to hit the ground running, but not as a top 5 quarterback right away.
Sure.
So that's fair expectations?
Yeah. I mean, I think if you're expecting any quarterback to come in and be a top 5 quarterback right away, that's even for a generational prospect, that is above and beyond. It's very difficult when you start talking about generational quarterbacks because inherently you're going back generations every time you do it. And we know that you can't statistically or even just, it's not like for like. So maybe we can go back as far as Andrew Luck and have an even playing field in terms of expectations. You can't really go back to Peyton Manning. I mean, that 98, it's a different world. So Peyton Manning set the rookie interception record, probably wasn't good year one. Took him a while to get going, but who knows if Peyton Manning in today's NFL would actually hit the ground running. If he would not set the interception record, if he would look cool, calm, and poised and put up Justin Herbert-like numbers. Instead, the game, I think, is too different, even going back to 98, let alone, Elway or whatever you have to go back to before that. So, yeah, I think if you're expecting a quarterback, even one as hyped as Lawrence, to be a top 5 guy right off the bat, you're probably crazy.
And Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow both graded mid to high 70s last year, very good rookie grades. I mean, if you see that from Lawrence, I think that's – if he looks just like Justin Herbert last year, who I think exceeded our expectations, played really well, I think you'd be fine with that.
Yeah,
if you're Lawrence.
Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, Baker Mayfield, those kinds of seasons, year one, would be what you would expect, I think, from Lawrence.